extremely, hugely disappointed. Those were the words of Chris Hughton after the Black Stars suffered a 2-1 defeat to Cape Verde in their opening game at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. And 3 wonderful games we saw yesterday. And some of the outcome, we had predicted them on this very program on Sports Africa. So on that note, we welcome you to this yesterday at the AFCON, and of course, previewing the games for today. It's going to be another awesome time right there in Cote d'Ivoire. We welcome our fans around the world. Thank you so much for all your support. We are here because of you. Kyle Dogundare, unfortunately, is a bit under the weather. James Agbere is here. James, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Femi. Happy to be on today's edition.
James, let's start with the Super Eagles. You gave the Super Eagles a blank check to shock you, and they still could not. Or would you say you were shocked by how well they played? Because if they are taking those chances, it will have been a different song for Nigeria this morning, despite the fact that it ended 1-0.
Yeah, it's disappointing because you expect them to take out teams like this, especially knowing the fact that their next game is against the host, and everything will come into play. The fans, even to an extent the officiating. But yesterday's game, I know a lot of people want to come out and say, okay, the Equatorial Guinea keeper was world class. He won the man of the match, and they were attacking sounder. But you made him, Super Eagles player made him look world class with poor finishing. We saw that. We saw it on glaring misses from Seydou Sanusi, from even Victor Osimhen himself. We saw that of Ademola Lookman. Very poor finishing, and we make them look so good. So I don't know. They keep making people believe that they are not good enough. That's the Super Eagles. I mean, for many games now, they've not been able to heck out a win. Apart from that meaningless friendly, they won 12-0. So they cannot even stand with the different teams, and even teams we expect them to take 3 points from. They struggle. And also the coach to want to even blame. He used to also have blame on his own part, because I mean there's some changes he made that you begin to question his knowledge about football. You are playing against an opponent who you now know that they are just looking for a point. They just didn't want to come out anymore. You expect the coach to I think, change your formation if it means putting 2 strikers, somebody that will support.
Right?
I mean, imagine the time he now brought on Paul Onuachu in the 94th minute, or somebody who was looking for a goal. I mean, you change formation. These guys, they are not just relying on counters. You just have to tweak your formation so that at least you know that you want to go for it, but you still left Osimhen there. So it's a very, very disappointing result. Though I wasn't surprised, because I told you that I don't have confidence in this team, and they proved me wrong again. I told you that they are going to concede, and they did. But even at that, if creating chances and not taking them, I mean, you get punished for it, and that was what we saw yesterday.
Okay, but I also think that maybe to some extent we should cut the Super Eagles some slack, because we had 10 of these Equatorian players played in the quarterfinals of the 2021 AFCON against Senegal, and they are a hugely experienced side. But let's leave the Super Eagles. A lot of stories coming out from the camp. Of course, by tomorrow we'll have had the reaction of the coach, who was saying that some people could tell him by saying that it is only God that gives victory. But on Thursday, they have a very, very serious game against the host. Let's talk about Ghana, James. Before I go to Ghana, Kade predicted a 1-1 or 2-2 score line for Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea. Was right. James was saying that he would want the Eagles to shock him, and he predicted a 2-1. They had the blank check, but they just couldn't. James, let's talk about the Black Stars. We are surprised that it is surprising to a lot of people that Cape Verde defeated the Black Stars. Now, this morning, the media in Ghana, they've been battering the players, battering Chris Hughton as well. In fact, we heard that yesterday after the game, a Black Star fan, attacked Chris Hughton, and he was arrested by the police. And he said he was extremely, hugely disappointed by the result. The Black Stars started the 2023 campaign. The way they started the 2021 campaign, Cameroon as well.
I mean, I don't know between the Super. I think the Super Eagles are just slightly better than the Black Stars in terms of who is the worst among the two. You know, I don't know the Black Stars. You know, I told you against Cape Verde, they played against each other during the qualifiers, if I'm not mistaken. And you also have the stretch, the Black Stars, and I think they should have had that at the back of their mind that playing against this team was going to be a very tough encounter, and that was what it proved to be. Then I was shocked. I wasn't expect. I know that it was going to be a tough game, but I wasn't expecting the Black Stars to lose that game. I imagine when they considered that late goal. I mean, you play against a side that they are growing in confidence in games like that. I'm telling you, if you give them the opportunity to go ahead of you again, you know there's no coming back for you, which was what really happened. And it's not a good one. The way they started the last edition, just like what you said, yeah, they're about to go the same route. And I can't remember the last time the Blacks have scored won a game at the AFCON. It's been a while now, and it's not so palatable. And this tends to only add more pressure on the team, the coaching crew. Just like what you said, the fan kind of wanted to attack the coach. I mean, it has gotten that bad. It has gotten that bad, which is so sad. It only had more pressure on the team. They are going to play against an Egyptian side that is not going to even make life easier for them. It's going to be difficult for henceforth now. They have to put in their thinking cap. It's not even about tactics and whatever now. It's about wanting it. Who wants it the most now? So it's a sad one for Ghanaian football. I mean, these are things that you expect them to take care of, but they are just struggling all this while against teams like this. So it's not a good way to start a major tournament, especially knowing that you've not won this competition over 4 decades, and look at the way they are picking up the company. It's very sad.
Okay. James, there are a lot of things to talk about the Black Stars, but we do not have time. In a subsequent edition, we'll be looking at that. Let's look at that goal that was considered the second goal that the Black Stars considered. Who would you blame? Is it Mohamed Salisu or Richard Ofori? Remember yesterday I brought up this issue of the goalkeeping because I felt that the defenders will have been used to Jojo Walakot. He played with Mohamed Salisu, with Danny Amate, and of course with Alexander Djiku for a long time. Then before we now had Lawrence Atisigi. That goal, who would you blame? Would you blame Mohamed Salisu or Richard Ofori? Because when you're coming to an international competition like this, all these issues are supposed to have been addressed. We saw Mohamed Salisu perhaps trying to leave the goal for Ofori, but before Ofori made the decision, the Cape Verde, the player was there, and the rest is history.
No, I mean, I won't blame the goalkeeper. The 2 goals he considered, there was no fault of his. The first goal, he did his own work by stopping the shot, but where were the defenders to clear the rebound? Nobody was there. The Canadian guy was the quickest and he tucked it in. So what do you expect the keeper to do? The second goal, he also tried to, he was in his goal when the defenders failed to mop up the ball. The ball was just bumping here and there, and when he tried to come out for the ball, he missed it, and it would have even been a penalty. I think the referee just played the advantage because he brought the guy down. So the defenders failed to do their work. They failed to clear the ball. Well, the ball came from somewhere. It was just they lifted into the box. The defenders didn't do their work, and what they expected him to do. So for me, the keeper had no fault. It was just carelessness on the part of the defenders.
Okay, it was just a complete lack of communication between the goalkeeper and the defenders. Yes, let's talk about this one. Even if you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't be able to foretell. Who would think that Mozambique will get a draw against Egypt? When Egypt got that for their first goal in less than 2 minutes into the game, we were all counting. We were saying that this game is going to end about 5. But as the game was going, particularly after Mozambique got the equalizer, they grew in confidence, and you saw them score the kind of chance that Victor Osimhen couldn't score in the game against Equatorial Guinea. No one saw this scoreline, and it took Mohamed Salah a last gasp penalty to secure a draw for the Egyptians.
Yeah, I think the Egyptians they will be hitting themselves this morning because these are the kind of games. I told you that they were going to win the game, but I backed them to.
You said they know how to beat this kind of small teams, right?
Yes, but to my greatest surprise, they were hanging. They had to settle for a draw. last gap in a 97th minute penalty from Mohamed Salah. When the game started and I saw the scoreline, it was like they were going to do the needful, but the next thing they found themselves 2-1 down, and I don't know if I think when it's maybe inexperience on the part of Mozambique, they would have been able to see out the game, but they couldn't hold on to the lead, and they allowed the Egyptian back into the game. And it will only get tougher for the Egyptians because now they're going to play against the black side team that wants to do everything possible to stay in the tournament. So the two teams we go into the game under intense pressure, especially the Black Stars. So it's not going to get any easier for them. And the outcome of the game between Egypt and Ghana will kind of let us know if they are going to stay in the competition or not, because it's not getting pleasing at all. The game for yesterday was just full of shocks all through. Shocks. And that's the good thing about expanding this competition, because it gives these other teams the opportunity to showcase what they can do. So it now remains to see if they will be able to sustain it. That's why we love football. The shocks, it brings the excitement. It goes to show that there are teams who are growing. They just need more encouragement, and that's why the competition will be exciting, not the main part, the powerhouse doing the same, coming to the party all the time and always, like bullying others. But I think it's good that the expansion has given other teams the opportunity to come on board and show the stuff that they are made of.
Okay, so action resuming in Group C today. James, we're having Senegal versus the Gambia. On paper, this is a David versus Goliath game, but with what we saw yesterday, particularly between Egypt and Mozambique, and of course, even what Equatorial Guinea did with the Super Eagles, or even with what Cape Verde did against the Black Stars, you will have to look twice, James. Henceforth, in this competition, you have to look twice, think twice before you even try to say one team is favorite to get all the 3 points.
Yeah, I think one thing again, Gambia, Senegal. For me, I think this should be like a rivalry, because I think they share the same border. They're very close.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
The Senegambia, So I think even Senegal today know that they're going to have their work cut out. It won't be a soul in the park for them. The Gambia team, they've been impressing, and they're going to make life very, very difficult for Senegal. And I don't know if the Senegalese team, they still have that motivation after winning the AFCON. I don't know that motivation to still give the kind of performance they gave in the last edition. I don't know that it's still there for them. And the day today would have seen the result of the previous day, and they know that they have to buckle up, because any other than a win in their first game might put pressure on them. So we should look out for a very, very exciting game. And like I said, it's like a derby. And I don't see the Senegalese overrunning the Gambians. It's going to be a tough encounter.
Okay, James, would Aliou Cisse and his boys be under pressure to kick off their campaign with a win, even minding the kind of opponent they are playing? It is not Cameroon yet, it is not Nigeria, it is not Ghana, it is not South Africa, but the Gambia. But do you think they will still be under pressure in this game? So start with
the win. They will. Yeah, they will. They know that the team that they're going to meet, fine, they are not a powerhouse when it comes to African football, but if you share closeness with a particular team, no matter how small that team is, they will always give you a fight. Like I always mention here, for example, Barcelona, Espanyol, they're in the same city, so anytime they play, it's always feisty affair. You think Espanyol is one super power team, so that's why it's going to be very difficult. They are going to be under pressure, no doubt, as champions, and expectation will be so high, and people will be looking up to them, and they've been tipped as favorite to retain the trophy, and I don't know if that will get to them. And are playing against Gambia. I think the pressure too will still be there. It will be there, and the way the result panned out yesterday, it will also tell on them. They will have to look at that. If they don't take care of business, they might go the way of the other big teams who fail to take all 3 points in their opening game.
Okay, so what we'll wait to see in that game is if Senegal still have the mentality they had 2 years ago, because really down the line, some of the players, they no longer play for the best clubs in the world. Sadio Mane plays in Saudi Arabia now. Mendy plays in Saudi Arabia now. And you have a couple of other players who are also not firing like they did 2 years ago. James, let's talk about Cameroon versus Guinea, the other game in Group C. Cameroon, Rigobert Song is another coach who will be under a lot of spotlight, like a Pesero, like Chris Sutton, you know. Now with the way Guinea played against the Super Eagles of Nigeria in that international friendly, 2-0 over on a neutral venue, in Abu Dhabi. You would say that Cameroon have to be careful. Not even Guinea now. Cameroon should be very careful.
Yeah, they should be very careful because they will have it at the back of their mind that this is the same team that defeated the Super Eagles. No matter what I want to say, the Super Eagles is not like the Super Eagles of old, but it's still a team with big reputation. And they will know that going against a team like Guinea, they will have to be very, very, very careful, because they can shock them. And, they've not been impressive. And Vincent Abubakar is another player who is a big doubt, so they have their work cut out. It's going to be very, very tough for them, so it's going to be an open game. It's very difficult to say this team is going to win or that team is going to win. Maybe at the end of the day, they will just settle for a draw, because the Guinean team too cannot just show them aside. They've proven that they can hold their own against any top team in Africa.
Okay, James, Serhou Guirassy, it was a doubt in that game against the Super Eagles. He limped off, but since then, the Federation of Football in Guinea, they have not come out to release a statement whether he's fit or whether he's injured. So we assume that he is okay. He's going to give the defense of Indomitable Lions some a run for their money. Now, this guy born in France, the way he even plays, you hardly know that he's African. He will want to prove a point in this competition with what he has done in the German Bundesliga this season.
What you need to understand is African football is very, very different from German football or French football. I mean, this is a different kind of football. They know that it's coming with a big reputation. It's firing on all cylinders in Germany, so that's why the focus will really be on him. We've seen players who have done very well in top European leagues, and when they come back home here, they struggle. Egypt just needed the last minute goal from Salah, which means he was not. Last year, he was not even in the game. He was swallowed, if not for the penalty.
A penalty.
Yes, So we also have Osimhen who could not echo out the win for the Super Eagles. So it's going to be a tough one for him. The African football is no joke, and we know that it's not going to be easy. All eyes will be on him. The fact that he's doing so well in his club will make him a main target, and I won't be surprised if he's shut out, because we've seen top players who were shut out in big games, so his own will not be an exception.
Okay, James, let's talk about Vincent Abubakar. You talked about him earlier. In the statement released by Feca Foot a few days ago, they said he's not out of the competition. That suggests that he might not be fit for the game against Guinea. Now, with Choupo-Moting also not in the AFCON because Rigobert Song left him out. Now, how much of a miss will Abubakar's influence be in this game for Rigobert Song and for the Indomitable Lions if he is not fit, which I assume will be the case, because maybe he might be fit for the second or third game, because the Feca Foot only said that he's not out of AFCON, meaning that he might not be fit for this game.
Yeah, he is going to be a very big miss, because we've seen that is that player who always come out to build the Indomitable Lions when they need inspiration. We also what they did at the last World Cup. He came in and did some fantastic things, So it goes to show that he's a very, very important player in the team. And if you don't have such a player in your first game, or is a doubt, you are not even sure whether he's going to be fit. Even though he comes back, how fit he's going to be. I mean, it's going to tell on the team. And you don't have a Choupo-Moting who would have been like a backup, but he's not there. So more pressure on the team. Those that are going to step in now, they will have to live up to expectations, because you don't have your main man there. And you have to try and help the team, because it's going to be a big miss, like I said. you don't want to be missing such players, especially in your first game, because by the time he comes back and maybe they end up not winning their first game, and by the time he comes back, I mean the pressure will be so much, and so let's just wait and see if he will be able to be fit and firing, because I don't see any other player who. You remember what he did for them in the last AFCON, especially in the game against Burkina Faso. He was the key man for them that helped them to win the bronze.
To win a bronze.
Yes, and you want such player to still be around, at least to push the team forward.
Okay. Lastly, James, let's look at Algeria, Angola. Jamel is another coach who is under immense pressure. He's one of the highest paid coaches at this AFCON. Now, what do you see happening in this game, James? Algeria, Angola. We all knew that it is no longer the same Algeria that won the AFCON in 2019.
Femi, I'm looking at a very, very tough game for Algeria. After their exploit in 2019, as if it's like a downward slope for them, and they've not been doing well at all. Fine, they qualified for the AFCON, but it's not the same team. That team that went almost invincible in games, it's no more there. They have been struggling, and so the game against Angola is going to be another big test for them. I mean, the Angolan teams, they will look at the performance of other teams against the heavyweights, and that will kind of motivate them to go into that game and give their all. I don't think they're going to go into that game and sit back and allow the Algerians to have a ride on them. They will give their all. You know how difficult first games are always, the way they always set up. So I'm expecting such. I don't see the Algerians overrunning them. At the end of the day, they might even end in a draw. Because it is a team, the team that's transformed. So the coach too. I mean, this AFCON is going to tell a lot about his future. If they don't do well, I won't be surprised if at the end of the day they ask him to leave.
Yeah, he's been with them for 5 years now, and the Palanglas Negras stopped the Super Eagles from the 2006 World Cup. James, you've rightly even answered the question I was going to ask you next about if Angola will be picking a motivation from what Cape Verde, Equatorial Guinea, and of course Mozambique did yesterday at the AFCON. Now, let's take prediction as we leave the set now. The Gambia, Senegal. What would you think will be the scoreline?
Femi, I'm looking at a draw based on what we've been seeing in the competition.
Defending champions?
No, yeah. I'm telling you, I'm looking at a draw, maybe a 1-1 draw. I know that there will be goals involved in the game, so I'm looking at it. Okay, let me see 1-1 draw or 2-1 win for Senegal. 1-1 draw, 2-1 win. Yeah,
that's fair to Senegal. Let's talk about Guinea, Cameroon.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at also a draw in that game. 1-1.
Okay, then last one, Algeria, Angola.
Yeah, because the North Africa seems like, though, like I said, they've been struggling. They've not been doing so well, but they might just have that slight edge over Angola. So I will give it to Algeria, a 1-0 victory.
Okay.
1-0 victory. Of course, but it's going to be a big fight, but I still see them nicking it.
Okay, of course, the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations is showing that the gap between the big and the small teams on the continent is closing, because after 4 matches, you have only 2 wins. And if you look at these matches, they are like the mighty versus not the minnows, but not as much mighty teams. And of course, we are seeing very, very good football. Yesterday, Cape Verde, Ghana, it's even difficult to console Nigerians and Ghanaians this morning. But we hope that the Black Stars will be able to do something against Egypt on Thursday. It wouldn't be easy. So the Super Eagles will be taking on host Ivory Coast on Thursday. We wish all of them all the best. James Agberebi, thank you so much for your thoughts on the show today in Kayode's absence. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. Looking forward to tomorrow's game.
Okay. You mean today's games? We aren't done with today's matches already.
Yeah, sorry. I think I'm still suffering from the hangover with the Super Eagles disappointing result.
Okay.
So that's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So our fans across the board, we appreciate you once again for your support. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please don't just watch. Please subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notification button so that you can get the videos as soon as they drop. We appreciate our producer so much. It's always place there to put all this together for us. Tomorrow we'll return with yesterday at the AFCON and to also preview the games that will be on the card for Tuesday. We'll see you next time. I remain Ashalolu Afemi Kayode. Bye for now.